everybody. It's Monday, August 11th, 2025. Welcome to the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast, where we can't be back because we never left. It's me, your man, MG Marcas Grant, joined by Michael F. Florio and LaQuan Jones. We have football-like substance on television.
Yes, we are back.
Great. It's like there's football-ish things happening, for sure.
I spent the plane ride back yesterday watching like the condensed versions of games. So like that's how you know it's football season again.
I did throw on, I paid for the Wi-Fi on the plane and then did some streaming, and I watched a little bit of the Chargers and Saints.
Okay. Oh, you were watching live?
I was until, because, you guys know this. We'll talk about this. For the Fantasy Football Expo in Canton, it's a great time. It's a wonderful time. You don't really get a whole lot of sleep. So I was sort of watching it and sort of nodding off all at the same time. I did learn that Cam Akers is a Saint. I don't think I knew that.
Wow.
Yeah. I saw that and I thought of him right away.
Yeah, I immediately thought of you, LaQuan.
Well, Sean McVay and him will be reuniting this week for a joint practice, maybe. So we shall see how that goes.
But it was a good time in Canton. Absolutely. You were missed, sir. A number of people asked us about you. So a good time was had in your honor.
Yeah, man, I had family obligations, but it's good to be loved, and then have that people reach out and say, hey, where the heck are you, man? The whole crew's here. Where are you at? But next year, we'll see if I spin back.
All right, sounds good.
Shout out to Bob Lung, though, and the entire Lung family. They put on such a great venue, and they bring an entire economy to his hometown of Canton.
Yes.
Which, shout out to you, man.
Absolutely. Like Canton, I know usually pops off certainly 1 week a year for the Hall of Fame. You can make it 2 weekends a year now with the Fantasy Football Expo. So if you've never been, definitely make your plans. I know it's scheduled for late July. For next year, so just kind of block off that time on the calendar.
There you go.
Part of the Fantasy Football Expo is doing drafts. Florio and I were in the Kings Classic draft, which is broken up into a couple of different leagues. One is a snake draft, one is an auction draft. I did the snake, you did the auction. We'll talk about these teams over the next few days. We'll talk snake today, we'll talk the auction today.
The auctioneer was a real life auctioneer.
Legit.
It is hard to keep up.
Legit, like when you see movies and TV with like cattle auctioneers and like how they that.
I saw the video of the guy going off. He was not breathing.
He said that was 50% speed. He was like, I can double this if you want.
Liar.
So,
no way.
So yeah, we will get to a little bit of the Kings Classic draft too a little bit later on in the show though. Going to start with some news. And we're gonna move this up here. We're gonna do some alterations on the fly.
We're starting off toxic. I see.
Well, it's more because it's the most recent news.
Oh my god!
And also, because I want to poke you in the ribs a little bit. Matthew Stafford. The reports were he was going to be back working out over the weekend, and the Rams were hoping he would practice on Monday. Instead, I saw a post on Blue Sky featuring what to my eyes looked like an Airstream trailer, but apparently he is getting some manner of treatment inside. No one knows what. There were a lot of Aaron Rodgers, Oscar Waya jokes flying across social media. I will say, and I say this in all seriousness, LaQuan, I wasn't super worried about Matthew Stafford's back. Like, I get it. He's 37 years old. He's got a sore back. Like, I got a sore back. I am pull my neck when I sneeze years old, right? So, like, I'm not really laughing at dude. When I saw that he's going into a specially designed trailer that they brought to camp, then I got a little bit concerned. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm unworried, unfazed, because him doing whatever it takes to get back on the field week one is the main goal. Like, it is road to the Super Bowl. Like, you see our squad. As long as we're healthy, we're getting to the big dance. And again, it's been 30 years for the 49ers.
Wait, hang on. If was doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence when we're talking about we're talking about your quarterback in a trailer with like crystals.
It's a healing
lights.
It's a healing pod. If you know, you know. You look at Goku when he got after beat up from Vegeta when the healing pod.
Goku's taking fewer hits than Matthew Stafford.
For real.
Look, Goku came back to them and started putting belt to butt, man. So I think that's what's going to happen week one.
He's like
Stafford.
Batman when after Bane, he's just doing just a bunch of sit-ups.
Man.
I will admit I'm more worried now than I was, because remember last week I was like, I'm not worried, but if this lingers on and next week he's not practicing, I'm going to be worried. And everything was like he's going to be back, and now he's not. Look, if he's out tomorrow, cool. This was just a one-day thing. But how long does this have to linger before you are worried?
Look, man, 2 more weeks. If we are still in this boat of not practicing and he's
you're pushing this up to actual week
yes,
one.
like week one is when I would start to panic and be like, oh God, we have to start Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, oh God, this is going to be bad. I'd rather Stetson Bennett go in there than a Jimmy Garoppolo, to be honest.
You don't.
I do. Stetson Bennett looked a lot better than last year's preseason, stepping up in the
He's Matt
pocket.
Stafford's age.
Yeah. So he's ready to take over the reins.
Look, here's the thing. I know Jimmy Garoppolo is an easy punchline, right? I know it. I know that. But he did lead a team to multiple NFC championship games and a Super Bowl.
That was another lifetime ago, though.
I get it. He overthrew Emmanuel Sanders because he had his eyes closed when he was slinging the ball downfield. But at least through the regular season, Jimmy Garoppolo can hold you down and keep you competitive. You can't. Like, you don't. I know the RB3 in you is like, we should start Stetson Bennett. I'm telling you, you don't want to do that, man.
What about for the receivers though? Because like in the draft this weekend, we saw Puka fall in a 14-team league. Puka fell to round 2.
I got him in number 13 in the first
Yeah,
round.
he is sliding because of the Stafford thing. So I don't know if I would let him slide. Like, I'm definitely taking Malik Neighbors over him.
Yeah.
But then after that, it gets to be because I like Puka over everyone else.
I'm still taking Puka over A.J. Brown. I'm still taking Puka over Drake London. I'm still taking Puka over Brian Thomas Jr. So what are we really talking about? If he falls past those guys, you're stealing him. Because at the end of the day, if it is Jimmy G, you're going to have the receiver suffer a little bit on the terms that we don't have that deep ball. But Puka, at least, he has yards out there to catch in his ability.
I worry much more about Devontae than Puka.
Exactly. Devontae will be
I've kind of shied away from
out of here
Devontae.
before I get killed again.
I have shied away because of that.
So I say this mostly joking, but a little bit seriously. Does your Devontae concern have anything to do with the fact that he and Jimmy just didn't get along in Vegas?
A little, but to me, it's more that I think the volume would like it's 100. Puka's always going to be your top target. He could win after the catch. He specializes in that, whereas Devontae never really has. And I think Devontae is more touchdown dependent than Puka. And if you take Stafford away, I don't care who the quarterback is, you're going to score less touchdowns, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's probably true. So obviously we will continue to monitor this, partially because it is a big deal across fantasy and partially because it just makes LaQuan uncomfortable. Elsewhere around the league, Rachaad White suffered a groin injury. He's supposed to undergo tests for that. Bucky Irving, I won't say he's the new hotness across fantasy because people have been on the Bucky Irving train for a while, but with this and, sort of monitoring how long Rachaad White may be out. Now, granted, we're still a couple weeks away from the season started. Florio, how high are you willing to take Bucky Irving?
I really like Bucky in round 2. Like, I'm not taking him over Devon Achane because that is my guy this year. But right now I have him ranked at RB7, and I want to put him higher. But I'm going to tell you the 6 running backs I have ahead of him. You guys tell me if you would take him over any of them. Yep. The obvious 3 of Bijan, Gibbs, and Saquon. Like, they're the first round guys. Then I have Achane, Henry, and CMC.
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, I don't.
Josh over Bucky.
No, are you taking any? Would you put Bucky over any of those 3?
No,
absolutely not.
Okay. I don't think so. No,
you could put Josh Jacobs in that
I don't
tier.
like.
You could put him in that tier. He's a workhorse.
I like Jacobs. I do have him a little bit lower though.
All right.
Bucky catches so many.
Bucky
passes.
will catch the ball.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs has been in the league for like 11 billion years, and he finally caught his first touchdown last year.
But how many touchdowns did he have? There's no other
true.
back up there.
Marshawn Lloyd can't stay healthy.
Marshawn Lloyd can't stay healthy.
Unfortunately. Emmanuel Wilson's explosive, but he ain't Josh Jacobs.
The thing is, though, like there's a lot of running backs in that range. I like Chase Brown, Kyron Williams. Like it's a good range to get a running back.
Yeah, I like it. I just don't like Bucky that high. I can't touch him.
I'm starting to come around to it though, just because everything you read out of Tampa is how much they love him and how much they want to get him more work. So it does feel like Rachaad White is going to be much more of a background figure.
They made him play and Bucky sat out. Like to me, I was like, that's a big look
Rachaad
into
didn't
how
look
they're
bad
looking.
though. He didn't look bad in his opportunities.
I mean,
but it's preseason.
I don't think he's a bad player. I just think Bucky Irving's a better player.
Yeah.
Sort of what it is. In Indianapolis, Anthony Richardson right now day to day with a dislocated pinky. It's funny because I had the game on in the background, but I'm like doing things. I'm like making dinner or whatever in the kitchen, and then like I'm not watching the screen, and then I just hear Anthony Richardson being helped off the field. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then you, Florio, sent us the picture of his pinky making an unscheduled right turn.
This guy's throwing
He did a
gang
baldy.
signs.
Brian Baldinger, who we love, but yeah, I mean, he's got a finger like from his playing days that just continually pokes
I was
out.
going to tweet that he pulled a Baldy, but I was like, Baldy might not want that. So I didn't tweet it.
Yeah.
But now I just said it on the show.
Now you said it on the show. So,
It's out there now.
So good luck with that. LaQuan, I know we like Anthony Richardson potentially for his ceiling. We like Daniel Jones potentially for what he could mean for the pass catchers. But, depending on how this injury goes, any interest in drafting Daniel Jones anywhere?
Absolutely. I've been saying draft Daniel Jones in best ball leagues for the last 2 months. We kind of already seen how this is panning out. And with that happening in a preseason game where, again, you didn't even turn your head right, brother, with the blitz. You were a liability
you
out
keep the
there.
head on the swivel there, Rich.
Yeah, and you can't stand flat-footed. When have you ever been comfortable flat-footed? You need to get in and out of that pocket you're supposed to.
But also Colts maybe don't leave an edge rusher unblocked.
Yeah. I love Tyler Warren. He just ran right by.
There were multiple people.
Tyler Warren wanted to get the ball.
Multiple people were at fault in that situation.
Yeah, it was just an ugly car crash, but the way the injuries are starting to pile up now, this is just another one that we have to add to the list. This is more reps that he's missing. I know he's going to start the first half, in this next preseason game, but you still have Daniel Jones that's starting to heat up, and it's starting to look like he's going to be the week 1 starter. So this obviously benefits the pass catchers. Josh Downs, when you look at Daniel Jones, his connection towards the slot, he has the highest passer rating since 2022 when targeting in the slot. When you look at Tyler Warren, he looked so smooth and in and out of his routes and being available as a target. This is something that they were missing last year, and Daniel Jones just looks like he could take the captain and take the keys and run away with it.
I still think Anthony Richardson starts week 1. Personally, I think if you pull the plug on Richardson, you're giving up on him.
Yeah,
and they're still invested in him. I think you can always make the move to Daniel Jones. I think it's a lot harder to start Jones and then go back to Richardson.
I think that's fair. Although they showed last year that they
and they admitted that but this is it. And from all reports, Anthony Richardson has been outplaying Jones. That's what the beat reporters
which
are saying.
sort of made me upset, on his behalf that he got hurt and didn't get to play because everything had been really positive about Anthony Richardson, and he just wasn't in there very long. Although to your point, LaQuan, those reps, man, they continue to be valuable for a guy who didn't play that much, didn't have a long college career, and to this point, through 2 NFL seasons, still has not attempted 400 total passes yet.
It's insane.
My biggest takeaway, though, was both quarterbacks were locked in on Tyler Warren. It didn't matter who was out there.
Yeah, you know what?
The arrow's pointing up.
So it's funny because I've told you guys that in terms of talent, I liked Warren over Loveland. I was drafting Loveland early because I felt like Ben Johnson had a plan, and then watching them no, this is why I like Tyler Warren.
Yes. This is exactly why.
So I'm back. He
is the function of the offense.
All the way back.
Just love to see it.
Time is a flat circle. Last bit of news here. James Cook suited up over the weekend. It's funny because I remember seeing a social media, a TikTok or something like that, and it was James Cook in uniform, and I'm like, wait, is this today or is this old stuff? He did suit up. And he decided to not participate. Told Sean McDermott that I would like to be excluded from this football
None
narrative.
of the starters
business.
played,
Yeah.
The tight ends played, but that was kind of it.
Yeah. Ty Johnson went out, had a pretty good, it wasn't a lot of opportunity, but looked pretty good with his opportunity. Ray Davis showed us that in case something happens with Tyler Bass, that he can come in and kick extra points. But you, Florio, as somebody who follows this team very closely, and I'm sure you're watching the James Cook contract situation, at what point should fantasy folks be worried about him?
I think we have another 2 weeks to go because even I know I said this with Terry McLaurin as well. I think it's even different for James Cook because the running back position is, he's got the exact same line. It's Josh Allen again. It's the same OC, and it's not like with wide receivers where you want that timing down. I will say this though, RB13, I have him ranked at RB14. I was liking to take James Cook when he was starting to slide, but now we're getting into real drafts and he's starting to. I tend to like to wait a little bit more and get Travion Henderson or DeAndre Swift or something like that. But I have James Cook ranked exactly where he's going, so I'm still on board with that.
All right, are you cool with RB13?
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I mean, look at the opportunities that Joe Brady gave him on the goal line, so that's still going to be there. The Bills are still a high-power offense, so I just look at if you're going to be chasing James Cook, you're chasing for the opportunity for him to score a lot of touchdowns again. So I think Ray Davis, he didn't put anything out there that was super exciting. other than him kicking a field goal.
I mean,
but
that was kind of cool, though.
that was kind of cool. I mean, like, it's just like overall, you're looking at like how this backfield is looking like. It runs through James Cook. Like, I think he's very secure in his position and his role in the offense. And I think Joe Brady and the rest of the team understand that. So I think he's going to stand on business until they cut that check, and I'm standing with him.
Give him the Kyron contract, please.
There you
That's
go.
what I want.
There you go.
I mean,
Just draft Ray Davis though.
he doesn't
if you're
want the
unsure.
Kyron contract. He doesn't want the Kyron contract.
He wants the
Kyron
Saquon,
didn't want the
but
Kyron contract.
I mean, we all want the Saquon contract.
I think he is starting to realize like
He doesn't have the same leverage that Terry McLaurin does.
no,
He does not. The Bills could just Ray Davis. Hey,
Does
Ty
Terry
Johnson,
have
you guys
leverage
want
though?
some-
I think so because
Yeah.
he is the passing attack.
Yeah. Have you seen the rest of that? I mean, look, Debo is not necessarily going to be the dude who just elevates you like that, right?
And
I
Luke
mean,
McCaffrey ain't.
Right. I mean, look at that wide receiver room.
Commanders are top 5 in cap next year. Just front load a deal, and then when you have to pay Jaden, it'll be off the books. You know,
They got Michael Gallup though. He's back.
Man, like
a Marcus favorite.
2022 Marcus would have been all about that. Because, us MGs got to stick together. Marcas Grant, Michael Gallup. We just got to stick together like that. So the first full week of the preseason, I guess, is in the book. So does that mean the Hall of Fame game, is that like week 0 of
Week
the
0.
preseason?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Kind of.
in my opinion.
I used to cover a lot of high school football, and like, most high school areas have like a week 0. I once year saw a week 00. I'm like, what are we doing?
College does week 0 too.
Yeah,
right?
college does week 0 too, which is just wild. Just call it all week 1. It's just week 1.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's just
to
week
me.
1. And if you got to make it week 20 or whatever at the end, like that's just what it is.
Wow.
That's neither here nor there. Few stories from the preseason that sort of caught our eye, and it's all very rookie heavy from this first week. Not to say that there weren't some veterans that played well, but the rookies definitely, I think, caught our attention. The first one being Shedeur Sanders. A couple of touchdown passes against the Panthers. You and I there was the Friday night party at the Expo in downtown Canton. And at one point, the DJ sort of made a joke about, hey, do you guys like football? Because literally everyone at the party was staring up at the big screen, watching Shedeur lead a drive against Carolina. Like, the whole conversation stopped.
Put on a show. Shedeur and Bryce. Like, it was back and forth that game.
It was kind of back and forth in that game. LaQuan, when you look at this Browns quarterback situation, who should be the QB1? And will that person align with what we want as fantasy managers?
Joe Flacco. Pretty Flacco has to be the starter. But I do think Shedeur put good things on tape, but I need David Njoku, Jerry Jeudy, Deontay Johnson to be fantasy relevant, at least for the big portion of the fantasy season. So I think looking at Shedeur, if he comes in like later in the season, they've seen enough of Joe Flacco, they're losing games, I think we'll still be okay with Sanders coming in, but I need those big bumps, like, because I have a lot of drafts with David Njoku and Jerry Jeudy. So it's like, if you're going to be starting week 1 and you want wins, you want to go out there with Joe Flacco, that could be done. But if they start losing, okay, you put in Sanders. You don't pivot to Dylan Gabriel or try to get Kenny Pickett back into the mix, because you're just going to be throwing the bounce off for us fantasy managers of actual quarterbacks that can step up and get the ball to the pass catchers. That's just my take.
Okay, so then by that analysis, what week does Shedeur start?
Week 7, 8? When is their bye, actually?
The funny thing about that is, like, we're like, play Sanders, don't play Gabriel, but Gabriel was drafted 2 rounds earlier.
He was. Well, see,
Players mess up?
yeah. I think Sanders is the better of them.
I think so too. I mean, we don't have to relitigate the whole Shedeur
Yeah.
Sanders draft situation. I think, for my money, and you and I have talked about this just privately, I think it should just be a competition between Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders,
Me too.
because no one expects anything from the Browns this year.
No.
No one does. And we saw Joe Flacco last year. I mean, remember, they pulled the plug in Indianapolis on Anthony Richardson. They put in Joe Flacco, and after a few weeks, they're like, oh, wait, this ain't that same Joe Flacco no more. And they went back to Anthony Richardson. Like, I don't know why we expect it to be light years better. I mean, he had that great end of season run, I know, with the Browns 2 years ago, although he was a dumpster fire in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, why would you waste half a year of one of your 2 rookie quarterbacks without giving them a shot? It just
And you don't have
sense.
a 5th-year option on any of them.
Right, that's the other part.
This is the Browns' schedule to open up. the Bengals. Maybe they win that one, but the Bengals are like, we don't want to come out like we're the Bengals every week.
I would say they would win it just because the Bengals at the start of the season
lost to the Patriots last year. Yeah,
But hey, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase played in the preseason.
Yeah,
That's the most snaps they played in any preseason together. So
and they looked regular
good.
season form. Then they get the Ravens, Packers, Lions, Vikings. Like you could be 0-5 regardless of who the quarterback
regardless
is.
of who it
Put
is.
Get
Joe
the kid the
Flacco
reps.
out there. You can at least
I do
get
think
2
Flacco
wins.
starts. Like regardless of what we want, I do think Flacco is.
Yeah.
I mean, but this is one of those things where what is best, at least for what I think is best for the team. 'Cause I think what's best for the team is just let your young guys go, because you figure out what you got and maybe you got something, or if it's that they're not good, you're back in position to get another quarterback next year.
Arch Manning.
Oh, which by the way, I feel like
coming.
Arch Madness is on hold. I don't know if you saw Archie Manning saying Arch is going to go back to school.
Yeah.
Which-
Well, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean,
He's still a kid.
Here's the thing.
What do
when your
grandparents know?
grandfather is Archie, when your uncles are Peyton and Eli, the NFL will always be there for
I told you a
Yeah.
Saints fan was like, we could do this all day.
can do
We're
this
going to
all
be
day.
back next year too.
I love the whole Captain America. I can do this all day. Like, what are we doing? But it was interesting to watch Shedeur. He definitely went out and played well.
He looked better when I rewatched it than I saw the flashes. Like handling
Yeah.
pressure in the pocket, the placement, like putting it between defenders. I was like, this looks like a kid that deserves reps in the NFL.
Well, and I was having a conversation with somebody on Friday night and talking about how my big knocks on Shedeur were, one, he held the ball too long, and two, I felt like he should have run more, and like those words were barely out of my mouth, and I look up and Shedeur is scrambling for like 8 yards. I'm like, this is what I've been asking for.
He was moving
Bryce
side-
too, man.
Yeah,
I was
listen,
like, LaQuan likes Bryce.
I love Bryce, and like when you see both of these quarterbacks moving sideline to sideline, keeping their eyes downfield and finding the big play.
Bryce
and
was like, move, and then,
Bryce is directing. There's so much confidence in him right now,
Yeah.
to where like you have to look at him in a different light. Like I said on the radio this past weekend that Bryce Young has the chance to be a top 12 fantasy quarterback because of the mobility that he is showing and the confidence of him stepping up and getting light on his feet and going upfield. He can eclipse 400
I don't think
rushing
that's
yards
crazy at all.
easy. He can eclipse 500 yards easy if he has the scramble rate, which was above 8%, which is high. So it's like you're looking at Bryce Young now as a guy that's going in the deep later of drafts. He can be a easy QB2 if you have a risky QB1 to put on your
Part
roster.
of why he was so good for fantasy at the end of the season was because he was running the
Yeah.
football. I mean, I think he had a game with 2 rushing touchdowns. Like, obviously, that's sort of an
Yeah.
outlier, but he was running with the ball.
It's confidence. It shows confidence.
The other part is, once upon a time, we gave quarterbacks 3 years to try to develop.
what a concept, Colts.
Wow.
That doesn't really happen anymore. Like, especially if you draft a guy in the first round, either he's good in year one, or
If Bryce
apparently
Young was a
he's-
Colt, they would have benched him by now. You
Oh,
know,
yeah,
like
well,
listen.
I mean, let's not forget that the Panthers benched him too.
Yeah, I'm about to say they did.
I was against that as well.
So, I mean, handshake meme. Cam Ward, who is easily the least talked about #1 overall pick in any history of any sport. 5 of 8, 67 yards against the Bucks. I mean, not spectacular, but I think a lot of people are high on Cam Ward this year. Florio, where are you overall on the Titans offense?
Calvin Ridley is like a must draft for me this year. We saw it on. Look, it was only 8 pass attempts, but 3 went to Calvin Ridley, and like one, I love that they're even without D Hop there, they're not forcing Ridley to play the X. They're like you were playing at the Y because that's where you're more comfortable and stuff. But he had to catch and run. He had one in tight coverage. Cam Ward is going to be able to get the most out of Calvin Ridley because one, I think he's better than the quarterbacks they had last year, but 2, he has a really strong arm downfield and he is not afraid. There is no throw on the field he does not think he could make. Calvin Ridley could create this much separation, and Ward is like, I could fit it in there. So I think that he's going to get peppered in targets. But I think I know you like him as well. Chika Okonkwo is a sleeper tight end for me. I will say after that, I don't really want anything to do with the passing game.
Really?
I know you guys like.
I like
Io Manor. Let's go.
I like Io Manor.
He was the 4th wide receiver in preseason.
That's
That
fine.
scares me a little.
Tyler Lockett, he could be the underneath security blanket, and same thing with Chiggs. And like the one thing that Cam did is just show the pocket presence. Like he is cool, calm, collect. He does not care. And the thing is, he has that effort ball we like to call with Josh Allen, and like he's going to put it in that window if it's tight or not. So you just love everything that he put on tape and the 8 pass attempts that he had. But for fantasy, I'm a little hands off, and it's not because I don't think that he's going to be like fantasy relevant in year one. I'm more interested in Calvin Ridley and Chicago and Tyler Lockett, though. So I'm looking at him more so as like year one. He could possibly be like a top 20, quarterback in fantasy, and then probably break into the top 15 if things are going north, because he has a shot at what we just saw of cracking 4,000 yards. Calvin Ridley, he is upward in that 1,200-yard mark if Cam Ward plays like how he did in preseason.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I think a lot of people are staying away just because, one, the Titans project to not be a good team this year, and I don't know that the week-to-week ceiling is going to be high.
Yeah, he doesn't give me QB1 vibes yet.
Not yet. It's early. Jaxson Dart had a touchdown pass, also led the Giants in rushing, which doesn't seem great for the Giants. But anyway, we talked about Shedeur Sanders and when he might possibly start. LaQuan, do you think we will see a Jaxson Dart start during the regular season?
It gets cold in December, and that's when the kitchen is closed for Russell Wilson. So I do think it's going to be back in when Jaxson Dart comes in. But if they start losing games and Russ is not cooking, I can see Jaxson Dart coming in a little bit early because, again, another quarterback that came in with confidence. Like, we didn't see much, him in the passing game, but him leading the team in rushing yards is not anything to look away from because he ain't scared to run out of that pocket and get the yardage. So that gives him the rushing upside, and that gives us fantasy managers more of a scope of what he can bring to the table for this offense. So I do think that Jaxson Dart, he could be starting anywhere between like the back end of the season. Once the end of October hits, that's usually when the kitchen closes for Russell. So
I mean, it's when Russ starts doing DoorDash.
DoorDash, and he starts forgetting recipes, and he's a little sluggish. There you go.
Yeah. Where does Jameis fit into all this?
I think Jameis is going to be your number 2 on game days. Like, in case anything happens to Russ, Jameis will be the one to come in. If Russ gets hurt early in the year, I could also see Jameis coming in for that. But I do agree. I think there's a point where if the Giants aren't competing or they're falling out of the race, then they go. I don't think they go to Jameis. I think they go to Jaxson Dart. But early on, I'm also saying this now. Like, I think the Giants are going to surprise people this year. I think they have a ton of talent on defense.
That
D-line is going to make life a nightmare for
Bill
opposing
Carter
quarterbacks.
Barely played and it was causing so much havoc, and I'm like, yo, this D line has to be top 3.
I said on Fantasy Live today, I think they're a big sleeper defense, but I think on offense too, they have more talent than we like to give them credit for. And like last year, they had no quarterback. You could argue they have 3 better quarterbacks than anyone they had last year.
Yeah, I think you can say that for sure. I think they still need another pass catcher to help out Malik Neighbors.
Wandale Robinson
was out wide.
Wandale was out wide. Let's go.
Wandale Robinson had 140 targets last year and turned it into 699 yards.
With Tommy DeVito. Tommy Cutlets out there slinging a rock.
His average depth of target was from me to you.
So what?
You know, my favorite
Points
Tommy
count.
DeVito thing right now is Brian Dable's always like, we have 4 great quarterbacks on the roster. I'm one of those guys. I love you to death, Tommy. One of those guys is not like the others.
Forget about it.
I appreciate that you want to pump up your guys, but like, let's
Hey, big Jersey, man. I'm going to support my Jersey folk, but
keep it a buck right here.
Tommy not good.
Travis Hunter, who, obviously people are very excited about him for understandable reasons, played literally all of the snaps over the weekend.
Everything with BTJ, he was there.
And we'll talk about my Kings Classic. I took him in the 6th round.
Ooh.
I feel really good about that.
I think you should. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the preseason, we're talking about him going in like the 4th, 5th round. Because if he is going to play this many snaps, and he was playing a lot in the slot, like, he's going to eat. I think it is possible that he could give BTJ legit competition for like targets. Like, everyone is like, it's all going to go BTJ's way. I don't. They also want to play defense on the 2nd and 3rd drives, which indicates to me that offense is and will be his number 1 priority.
Yeah.
Should be. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. shouldn't fall down in rankings just because of that. Like, I think his ADP right now is baked into already worrying about Travis, but it all relies on Trevor Mid-Lawrence. Like, we need to see Trevor Mid-Lawrence elevate both of these wide receivers.
I was about to ask you the question. Saying. I mean, if you like BTJ and you like Travis Hunter, do you have to at least sort of consider Trevor Lawrence? Do you have to at least take the mid out of his name?
No.
Can't he just go by his government name? Like,
no.
His mama
until he stopped throwing hospital balls as well.
He did.
Yeah,
he tried to throw a hospital ball to Brian Thomas. Like, he got BT lit up.
This is who Trevor Mid-Lawrence is. He has to turn it up a notch. But I think with adding Travis Hunter, it does elevate somewhat of an interest to remove the mid. An interest. I'm not removing it, but it's there.
I think he's kind of like how you feel about Bryce Young. Like, He deserves to go where he's getting drafted, but if things break right, I could see Trevor Lawrence. He's never going to be a high-end QB1, but I could see him being like finishing QB12 or something like that if things break right
That's
for him.
cute. I mean, he's done that before. I mean, like, I'm trying to win fantasy leagues, man. I'm not putting it on Trevor Lawrence as a guy that I want as my QB1. Like,
No. I mean, I have him, like, he's like, in ADP, he's like 21 or something.
Yeah, like, he's down there with the Staffords and, the Bryce Youngs and the Michael Penix. I'm still taking Michael Penix over Trevor Lawrence. That's just
I would go
how I
with
got
Trevor Lawrence personally.
That's
just because I like the
cute.
weapons. That's it.
That's so funny. All right, so okay, that's a good question though, right? If you're looking at Penix versus Lawrence, do you want, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts versus Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, and like Brenton Strange?
Parker Washington and De'Ami Brown.
Well, I'm looking at the pass catchers more than because I think the Falcons are going to run a lot with Bijan.
Right. I do include Bijan because he had 72 targets. Like he is a pass catcher.
I see Penix having way more yards than Trevor Lawrence, and that's just based on what Zach Robinson wants to do with this offense. He wants to stretch the field, getting Pitts vertical, getting Drake London vertical, even getting like the guys like Darnell Mooney and then Ray McLeod like involved. This offense is going to want to be powered downfield. So it's like I'm going for higher upside.
All three of us are more mobile than Michael Penix. That's the issue.
But Zach Robinson said he wants to explore the opportunity of getting Penix a little bit more comfortable
I don't
out
know
of that
if that's
pocket.
the way to go. All the injuries he suffered and
I
stuff.
get it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's just interesting.
I want to explore, get a bigger paycheck. Like, it's good to want things. RJ Harvey. A lot of early down work. J.K. Dobbins. I'm looking right at you for this one.
I got to calm the fantasy streets.
Well,
man.
here's the thing.
It's annoying.
We are reminded that Sean Payton hates us. And sometimes
he's my guy now, man.
And sometimes he can be a lying liar who lies because J.K. Dobbins was first on the depth chart with RJ Harvey behind him, and it was Dobbins getting a lot of the early work in practice. Now it's RJ Harvey getting the early work in the game, the preseason game. Does this mean RJ Harvey is this guy, or does this mean that we still can't trust Sean Payton?
I'm trusting Sean Payton, and I'm saying this on wax because look what he did, okay? In fantasy opportunities in terms of a ratio, 9-1 to J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins, half of his snaps there, he was pass blocking. So that's a little nugget for the folks out there that are worried about RJ Harvey not being able to pass block. He is not going to be there for that because 2017 Alvin Kamara, he wasn't as much the pass block. And that's a Sean Payton system, right? So what I'm looking at is what RJ Harvey put on tape. And he bounced it outside too much for a lot of the fantasy streets folks out there, but he was making something out of nothing. He's not relying on his O-line to create opportunity for him. He got upfield 11 yards where he had about 4-5 of those 40 whiners defenders all over him. So I'm looking at the opportunity and his explosiveness. And yes, that was a little jab.
I got it. I'm just going to let it go. But yeah, I definitely heard your little shot in there. My quarterback's not in an Airstream getting crystals rubbed on his back.
How many running backs you guys got healthy?
Anyway. Yeah, I mean, look. I just think this is going to be an ultimately unsatisfying situation. Because I just don't think one guy is going to get all the work there. And then, there's going to be, I promise you, there's going to be the Jaleel McLaughlin game.
There'll be one, yeah.
We don't know when it's going to happen.
It'll be like week 12.
I don't think so, man.
We don't know.
When you look at Harvey and you compare him to the rest of the guys on that depth chart, like who has the college production he has? Who has the explosiveness? Who has the opportunity?
J.K. Dobbins had college production.
Listen, J.K. Dobbins is there to pass, and J.K. Dobbins is there for third down. Clearly,
my fear is because I'm in on R.J. Harvey. Look, he's no Travion Henderson, but I do like R.J. And the thing is, Sean Payton since 2017, his lead running back, 86 targets on average. If you give him 86 targets, he's going to outlive his ADP.
Freaking Javonte Williams had 50 catches last year. What are we talking about here?
My only fear is Dobbins at the goal line. I do think that is a possibility.
That's fine. He doesn't need to be on the goal line to score. He's shown this in college. He's taken it from his own 40 and taken it to the house.
But your ceiling is much higher when you're also getting the goal line.
I get that,
work.
But there's opportunities there in PPR formats where you're
I don't
want to
live where my running back needs a 20-yard touchdown to score,
Listen,
that's called the Devin Singletary conundrum.
Yeah.
I do think, the way we look at Gibbs, the way we look at Achane, I'm not saying on the same level of what we've seen from those guys, but that's exactly what I'm saying because you have David Montgomery. But hold on. David Montgomery, he was applied on the goal line in the red zone a lot more than
that's exactly what I'm saying.
It's not, but you have to look at it where like these backups and these 1-2 punches, like the goal line area is not the only place they can score.
No, yeah, but
you're right.
It
that's not going to be a knock.
Upside.
it is a harder way to
But Devon
live.
Achane had like 80% of their goal line carries last year.
But the same year in 2023, Raheem Mostert was all goal line.
Yeah,
duty.
but that was the most efficient running back season ever.
I mean,
All right, then.
also,
all right.
it's a little bit different, catching a pass 40 yards out and going to the house against, the University of Cincinnati than it is against the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Chargers. I mean, it's a little bit of a difference. I get what you're saying. I totally do. But like, if that's how I have to live, is like I need my dude to hit a home run. It's
Get Pepper with a ton of targets.
But where he's going in drafts, I think he's a really good
it's a
value.
little bit different when you're facing Sam Houston State versus the
49ers defense
versus the
is pretty
Houston
good, though.
Texans.
You guys got some guys.
The 49ers defense is gonna be.
You guys are swarming that backfield.
It's gonna be mid this year.
All right.
Their defense is gonna be mid.
I agree.
This year.
Thank you.
Did you
I like to sit here and just like
Did you just
sit back and
Floria's to
forth.
stir the pot.
Did you just walk me into that? Because
Yes.
I was like, they're gonna be mid this year. It's fine. I can own it. They're gonna be mid. It's all right.
Love that.
Anybody else that jumped out at you guys over the weekend?
We talked about Calvin Ridley. He was a big one for me. I mean, I mentioned his name, so I'll say Travion Henderson. Like Friday night at Canton, people kept coming up to me and they were like, "You like Travion, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." Did you see his highlight? I'm like, "Oh yeah, that crazy touchdown return." They're like, No, he did this now. He did that. And I just had to keep going on my phone to look. But like, I think he's gonna be the RB1 there. I think he's gonna dominate volume. I pushed him up to RB15, and I'm really toying with putting him as a top 12 running back.
Ooh, look at that. Look at that.
I can get on board with that because you just see it. It's just like, wow. Like, you're just in shock. But Torrey Horton in Seattle, he kind of caught my eye, and like they gave him a lot of opportunities. And Elijah Arroyo as well. Like, he ran a ton of routes, and it's like they want to get these young guys involved. And like Torrey Horton, like he has some ability out there to catch, but he's also a D threat, and they have MVS there, so there could be like a competition there. For that deep threat.
For that
role.
wide receiver 2 spot, right? Behind JSN.
You're funny. You're a funny guy.
We know who the wide receiver 2 is in Seattle.
Is he available? I mean, is he going to be on the field? And we'll see. I don't know.
Again, your quarterback is having incense sprinkled over his back.
He's in the healing pod, bro. He's good.
You're going to talk about
Is that
other
like
people's
right out?
injuries.
Oh no, wait, it's at their training.
No,
camp.
they're
If it was out there, you'd have to go knock
I
on
would
the
have to
door.
go knock on the door.
Could you
Like, yo,
imagine-
you good, bro?
Oh, that would be such a content opera. Like I would
man.
follow you around with an iPhone just like to watch you knock on the door of Matthew Stafford's healing trailer or something.
Are they still at camp where we went? That's like
No,
10
they're not.
minutes.
No,
I was saying we go right now. I will drive you.
I'll pull up.
No,
I'm
they're
dead
not,
serious.
They are
I'll
not
pull
at
up.
Loyola Marymount anymore. No, I would say this. I'm not drafting JJ McCarthy, but seeing what he did give me an extra level of confidence about the other guys there. I think it was 4 for 7 for 30 yards. Only played 12 snaps.
He's
but
getting a lot of hype though right now.
Right now,
he
it's
is.
high.
It's
It's
not
a
enough.
lot of hype.
Again, it's not enough for me to like out. Maybe in a 2 QB league, super flex, something like that. I'd consider it. 1 quarterback leagues, I'm not drafting him, but. We already knew Justin Jefferson was going to be fine. He's still going top 3 in every league. But, in case you might have been on the fence about TJ Hawkinson or you might have been on the fence about Jordan Addison post-suspension, I think J.J. McCarthy did something to sort of quiet some of those fears this week.
I just trust KOC more than
that part
anything,
too.
No,
that part too.
Jordan Mason doesn't play no more preseason. Get him off the field. I'm just
let
wanted
Aaron
to put
Jones
that-
play every snap.
every snap in preseason. just leave Jordan Mason to the side. Keep him ready for week
I've really come around on Jordan.
Why
Mason.
are you trying to put Aaron Jones in harm's way?
I'm
Like,
not. I'm just look. I'm just
They go
saying,
back to back in drafts now. Like
It's kind of crazy though because he's been moving up like gradually as we got closer to the season. So it's like keep him ready to go because even the little increments, the little small taste that we got, it's like he is going to be a problem. He is making a lot of camp noise right now. So Jordan Mason needs to be the top guy on your radar. You need to lead the draft with.
Wow. All right. By the way, some of this stuff you can hear on NFL Fantasy Live because it is back today. 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific, Monday through Friday. We are back on your televisions from now until they kick us off sometime in the winter. So over the weekend at the Fantasy Football Expo in Canton, Ohio, there was the Kings Classic Draft, which once upon a time was just 2 14-team drafts, and now has just expanded into multiple divisions of the Kings Classic. There's a Queens Classic. There is a Fans Classic. I think there's still an international division, I believe, of the Kings Classic.
There was a 34-round IDP.
34-round IDP draft.
Are they still drafting right now?
It took like
5 hours.
The snake and auction draft.
It took like 5 hours.
It was just like them going.
Gary Davenport is an absolute madman for putting this thing together.
Yo.
Yeah, it's because they draft an offense and then they draft an 11-man defensive roster.
Oh, it's not all at once.
Wow. Oh no, I mean they do it all at one time.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I guess if you wanted to,
Like
spend a first round pick on Myles Garrett, I mean, I guess you could do that if you chose.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't recommend it, but you could probably do that.
Where did Travis Hunter go? I'm really curious.
That's a good question. You know, and another question is, because somebody asked us this, is like, should Travis Hunter, like if you start him at wide receiver, should you get any points that he would score on defense? And I am a firm yes.
Think so.
I'm a firm yes on that.
Fantasy baseball, don't do it the way they do Ohtani, where they make him 2 players, or you can only get hitter or pitcher. Because my opinion is he's a unicorn in real life. He should be a unicorn in fantasy.
Yeah, there should be.
I'm actually with that.
You should
split him up, clone
because
him.
he is so.
Oh no, I don't like that.
Nah, man, no.
No, I mean, like, he's so different and so amazing. Like, you should be able to get an advantage if you take the chance to draft him.
I'm only saying that because I'm not drafting.
'Cause you're not
anywhere,
drafting Travis
and I don't
Hunter.
want to face him and have to deal with that.
Basically.
Let's just be honest. Like,
Well, in a regular league, you don't have to worry about the defense.
well, I'm just saying, like, then just have it normal. Like,
You're a shoe
I'm
in
bored.
for a hater of the year.
Hey.
Anyway, so in the Kings Classic Blanda division, I was pick number 13 out of 14. Just a quick rundown of my draft. I started with Puka Nacua, Drake London, George Kittle were my top 3. DeAndre Swift, David Montgomery next. Travis Hunter in the 6th. Cam Scattaboogo, I took him in the 7th. Brandon Ayuk in the 8th. Just, hopefully waiting on him and seeing if he can come around. With Tyler Warren in the 9th. Took 2 tight ends because you can flex one of them, so why not? So I took Tyler Warren. Bo Nix, Xavier Legette, friend of the show. Blake Corum, Deontay Johnson, Jalen McMillan. I took Mason Taylor in the 15th and then rounded it out with Michael Wilson in the 16th. 14-team draft.
I like this team.
Thanks. 14-team draft against really smart people. The draft board empties out quickly. By round 5, I think all the wide receivers that I had any mild interest in were pretty much gone at that point. Some interesting strategies along the way. Rich Rebar, who picked out of the 4th spot, I think had maybe the most interesting draft, maybe the most talked about draft. And from what I understand, actually, J.J. Zacharyson did the same thing in the Brown division. But Rich at number 4 took Christian McCaffrey in the 1st round, followed it up with 7 straight wide receivers.
JJ went CMC, then 6.
Tyreek Hill, Marvin Harrison, Ted McMillan, Jalen Waddle, Deebo Samuel, Cooper Kupp, Darnell Mooney, Christian Kirk. Because again, you start 3 receivers, you start 3 flexes, you can start as many as 6 wide receivers in your draft. And then after that, so his running backs.
I was about to say, what them running backs look like?
So Bashaw Tootin, Woody Marks.
Wow.
So definitely upside guys. He took Kyler Murray in the 12th round, which, by the way, Kyler Murray lasting to the 12th round felt insane.
He went for $4 in the auction.
He's not great.
Then DJ Giddens, Jarquez Hunter, Hunter Henry, and Jordan James rounded out Rich's
Jordan James,
team.
I like that. See, you make me smile.
No, but he
right
definitely took some upside running backs, guys that you're not sure, and maybe they have a little bit of a path to getting on the field, but there's the potential, and I think especially Woody Marks with the Joe Mixon foot thing lingering.
Definitely,
there's a path for Woody Marks for sure. And I heard you throw an elbow at Kyler Murray in there too.
A slight one. Look, you threw an interception to Marvin Harrison in a preseason game. There was a lot of reaction from the fantasy streaks, but this is what we already know. It's kind of been the last 2 seasons. Like, nothing changed.
You know how you came up in the auction when it was going on, and you were like, if you covered the names, I can guess your team.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is a very our podcast team.
Oh, yeah, no,
you know?
Every single name has
I
popped
thought
up.
about that after I locked down. I'm like, this is definitely our show. This team,
I think I would be able to guess this if you
team
cover
is
the names.
our show.
I see you're a
for
Bo
sure.
Lever too in that 10th round as well.
I am. I was Bo Lever in the 10th round, taking Bo Nix. I felt really good about it, and then on Sunday, like Andy Behrens came spitting all these facts that made me second guess myself. So thanks, Andy Behrens.
Thanks, Andy.
Appreciate that. Andy.
Look, I know there's a lot of big names we could talk about. I continue to think Deontay Johnson is a sneaky name. I got him in the auction as my last guy. Like, look, I could easily cut him if it doesn't work, right? If he quits because it's too cold or whatever, you easily cut him. But he is still excellent at getting open. And last season when he was with the Panthers, he was averaging more fantasy points per game than Marvin Harrison Jr. did. Like he was still playing at on a bad team that had 2 quarterbacks and stuff. So I think he could come in and compete with Jerry Jeudy to be like the top target.
So here are a couple things that sort of surprised me. Baker Mayfield going ahead of Patrick Mahomes. Wow. Maybe not a huge surprise, but a handful of picks ahead of Patrick Mahomes. Mauricio Gutierrez, who we love Mauricio.
Primo
takes Drake May. So Drake May, Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy all go ahead of Kyler Murray.
Yes.
People are souring on Kyler.
Yes.
Why are we so down on Kyler?
Look, we just talked about JJ, right? The hype is getting a little too crazy, but I could see why. Like, he looks like he fits the role. He fits the part, and it's KOC. So there's your reasoning. And then you look at Drake May, like the Travion Henderson is going to be an absolute weapon for him, and then his rushing upside. So you're looking at the opportunity and upside of where these guys can crack, and Kyler has just been mid these last couple of years. Like, he's not been the top 10 or even close to the top 5 quarterback that we draft him or look at him as. So I understand people are kind of tired of the old Kyler story. Like, it hasn't been like he's been returning on that ADP.
It's something I say a lot. We punish players for when we're wrong on them. And last year, the fantasy community hyped up Kyler Murray he was a top 5 quarterback being drafted. He was he was your favorite analyst's pick. You know, like everyone wanted him. And then he didn't live up to expectations. So now everyone is making him pay for that. We're the ones that missed that. You know, like Kyler averaged 17.5 points per game last year. That was a career low. Like I still think Kyler. I think we've gone too far in the other direction, and now he's a discount.
He was QB 10 last year.
Yeah.
Like, he was
and
QB
that
10.
was his worst finish in a full season.
Where was he getting drafted? It's the more of the burn.
But again, that's on us, right?
Yeah, but that's the burn that people are.
But that means if you weren't burned by him last year, you could get him for a value this year. He went for 4. I almost took him as my QB2 because I bid $3 and I was like, yeah, if I get him as my QB2, I'm ecstatic with that. Yeah. And then I didn't want to go to 5 because I was low on funds. But
the funds were not fun.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the auction draft probably on Wednesday's show. So we can get your thoughts on kind of some of what you did there. Because again, I walked in and you were like halfway through and I'm like, this is a Florio team if I've ever seen one.
Fields, Tyler Warren.
I saw the names that you had there. I'm like,
Travion, a lot of the names you would expect.
All my guys list.
AJ Brown,
this is totally your squad.
What about? I want to ask you real quick, Marcus. Sure. What about Cam Scatterboo? Like, Tracy's getting all the hype right now, but
he is. And that was one sort of kind of with an eye to the future a little bit because I've been of the belief that Tyrone Tracy he's going to be the RB1, right? My thing is, I feel like back half of the season is when we'll start to see more Scatterboo.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I don't even think he's going to have a full backfield takeover, but I can see it being like a 60-40 split in favor of Tyrone Tracy. And I think there's going to be enough opportunity there. I think there's going to be enough targets there that it's going to be sort of worthwhile. Again, I only really have to start 2 running backs. Yeah. And if DeAndre Swift and David Montgomery do what they should do, that's going to be fine. And then Scatterboo, anything I get from Scatterboo is a bonus. Same with, again, I can take Blake Corum just in case something happens with Kyron Williams here.
I can see Tracy playing more snaps, but Scatterboo being the better fantasy option because I think he could be the 3rd down back and the goal line back. Yeah. And those are the valuable downs.
I think Tracy has the appeal because of him being a pass catcher at that backfield, but it's definitely going to be split.
He's a bad pass blocker though. That's what I keep going back to. But I'm a Scatterboo guy.
Yeah. Well, this is a Scatterboo friendly podcast. Yeah. So that's for sure. Other thing that was that kind of I think caught everybody's eye. Literally, it got a whole ooh from the room when it happened. Ian Hartitz taking Omarion Hampton in the 2nd round. Omarion Hampton coming off the board before Kyron Williams.
Wow.
I always look at LaQuan when I say that because I just want to. I
don't hate Kyron.
Again, you say that now, but your actions suggest otherwise.
Jarquez.
There you go. That's the guy.
but everyone is hyping up Blake Corum. Now,
I know.
Both friends of the show.
My takeaway from preseason, right? There was a little gap between Blake and Jarquez, and I think Blake just looked it better. But again, this is Jarquez's rookie year, first real live snaps really against the Cowboys defense. So it's just something to monitor as we get closer to week 1 between that RB2 battle.
Round 3 was the Ohio State wide receiver round. Jackson Smith-Njigba, Marvin Harrison, Garrett Wilson, Terry McLaurin, all drafted within a handful of picks of each other.
One was left out. The Satchel Discontent. The OG, Chris Olave.
Where did Chris Olave go? He went in.
I
the
feel like
fifth
Harmon
round.
got him in every draft that he was in.
He went late. I know he's a reception perception darling, is Olave, but he went late 5th round in this one. And then just for funsies, there was like a weird tight end run in the 5th round, but like low end tight end. So it's like all in a row: Isaiah Likely, Brenton Strange, Hunter Henry, Pat Freiermuth, Zach Ertz, Cade Otton, Oronde Gadsden, all in a row. In the
Oronde
15th round.
Gadsden is interesting. He ran a ton of routes too.
And I was worried because that run was happening, and I actually had Mason Taylor like in my queue, like queued up ready to go, but like I'm like, if you guys keep going, somebody's gonna take Taylor before it gets to me. Like there's not enough of these tight ends left for him. So fortunately, people took a break, and I was able to get Mason Taylor at the end of the round.
I like that. A couple of those tight ends banged up, but we're 2 weeks, 3 weeks
Right.
in the season. So
But if it's your
not
second,
playing for week 1.
if it's your second or third tight end, you can afford to wait on those guys.
I like Taylor.
So, so obviously the Kings Classic, it's a fun draft, a lot of smart people, 14 temes. We all say the same thing. It's by like round 4. You're like, okay, I don't like any of these guys. I don't want to play anymore. But you soldier on. So we'll be back on Wednesday. We will talk about the auction draft. We'll look at Florio's team. We'll try to get a look at the big board if we can. I did see there were some similarities, I think, between the two divisions there too, in terms of prices. So there you go. And then, like I said, Fantasy Live back on your television set, 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific on NFL Network. We'll be back with you on Wednesday. And I guess Thursday? Are we doing a show Thursday?
Let's do it. There's games Thursday.
We got a thumbs up from Gavin. So we're doing a show on Thursday as well. We can preview some more football-like substance.
Oh, no, there's only games on Friday this weekend.
Oh,
so.
no Thursday games. All right. Well, we can preview the Friday games on Thursday.
There we go.
That works, too. In the meantime, that'll do it for this edition of the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. Stay happy, safe, and healthy. Do good and live well. Enjoy the days, everybody. And we will talk to you again on Wednesday.